No living organism can survive without salt. Salt probably first came from pools of seawater which the sun and wind dried out, leaving salt to deposit at the bottom. This is the same process still used today, year after year, in salt flats by the sea. The hard toil of men and women has created basins where seawater is left to evaporate thanks to the action of the wind and the sun. A crust of salt remains on the surface. This is collected in heaps that are protected with tiles from the rain and dust brought by the wind. The salt also has to be washed and refined to remove any impurities. When the world was created and the earth was divided by the waters, a prodigious event occurred. The earth collected parts of the waters, and superhuman powers dried them out and compressed them, creating vast layers of salt. The earth gathered these up, wrapped them in clay to protect them, and covered them up as a precious store of an element that nature still offers us intact after millions of years. Petralia is one of these petrified seas, formed about 6 million years ago. An enormous deposit of salt in the heart of the mountain that rises 1,100 meters above sea level. Petralia is one of the richest salt deposits in Europe. It covers an area of 2 square kilometers and is up to 250 meters deep. The salt is very high in sodium chloride, with a content of up to 99.9%. The exceptional purity of the salt and its location away from other salt deposits in Sicily suggests that this deposit at Petralia was originally a secondary deposit. In other words, this salt comes from an ancient deposit which, during the various geological ages the island went through, was dissolved, transplanted elsewhere, and recrystallized at a distance from its original location. Nature thus only did what man now does today to obtain sea salt. That is why Petralia salt is by nature so special. No other type of salt can imitate it, not even by manipulations and processes that are bound to affect its purity. This salt deposit has always been known and exploited locally on an artisan level. The first commercial salt mines here, working on an industrial scale, date back to 1972. This made use of all the experience and mining know-how of a company that had already centralized all the production of rock salt in Sicily. This company took the name of Italcali. The natural environment has not been much affected, and the changes indeed have respected and even enriched the landscape. consists of a ring of concrete that reaches the salt deposit just 50 meters below the level of the surrounding countryside. The tunnel is horizontal, with a slight upward slope near the exit to prevent the inflow of rainwater. The tunnel enters the deposit, where there are now more than 40 kilometers of galleries, stretching this way and that, reaching the salt production yards, the service areas, the processing plants, and the warehouses and stockpiles. The original first entrance was supplemented by a second entrance and then by a third, in order to facilitate the movement of vehicles underground, which travel in a circular direction from the entrance to the exit. Excavating a mine is like building a sort of skyscraper. The excavating machines and explosives work on the rock face and remove the salt, forming a series of regular chambers. The intercommunicating chambers are separated by solid stone columns which from ground level reach and support the roof. One floor below another, the perfect alignment of the different levels can be compared to the framework of an 11-story building, all dug out of the earth. A ventilation circuit pumps in about 200 cubic meters a second of air from the outside, creating a working environment that is both safe and pleasant. The entire production cycle goes on underground, from the collection of the salt to the packaging process. Only a few workers, all highly specialized, are needed to get over 3,000 tons of salt to market every day, from loose salt to the packaged product. All work is controlled from a state-of-the-art operations room with monitors and computer icons corresponding to the various circuits and machines in the plant. One specialized workman in the control room is in charge of the two main production lines. Salt for industrial purposes, for use by industries requiring maximum purity salt. Salt for home use and food factories. The difference between the two production lines is plain to see. Salt for home consumption is a product without crystals, which at the same level of purity is greyish in colour when subjected to refraction. The salt thus selected on the basis of chemical analyses is protected from all human contact. The salt is extracted by an enormous machine known as a non-stop miner. The cutting edge breaks the salt off from the rock face and mechanically loads it onto lorries with stainless steel containers. The salt is then transferred to the automatic processing line, from which it comes out in small packets or in 10, 25 and 50 kilogram sacks. The sacks or packets are then automatically piled on pallets that are cling-wrapped and loaded onto trucks that go directly to the retail outlets. Automatic weight checks, magnets and metal detectors guarantee the correct quantity of the product and the absence of any metallic residue. When you open a box or packet of Italcali kitchen salt, you can be sure you are the first person ever to touch the crystals of salt that nature selected beneath the fields of Petralia more than 6 million years ago. The star of all the production from the mine at Petralia is salt with added iodine. The selected product from the best yards in the mine is iodine added and then mixed and packed. The purity of the salt, the absence of humidity, and the precision of the iodization guarantee a regular and stable presence of iodine. The finished product is checked for iodine content in the quality control laboratory. Analyses of the samples made using standard statistical methods provide an accurate assessment of the iodine distribution in the salt mass. Year after year, Sale di Sicilia, Iodio Più, iodine plus Sicilian salt, has gained the confidence of a growing number of consumers who find that regular use of the product is a simple and effective way of eliminating all risk of problems due to iodine deficiency. Industrial salt is obtained by the use of explosives. The explosion rips open the rock, reducing it to a mass of regularly shaped rocks. The mineral thus obtained is loaded onto trucks with radio-controlled shovels and transferred to the crushing and sieving unit. It is then stockpiled in enormous silos, excavated directly in the rock, and then loaded on lorries packed in large 1,400-kilogram sacks. Petralia salt is marketed under the trademark of Sale di Sicilia, Salt of Sicily. Distribution is by the Italcali network, 11 branches with depots and some 150 agents with their own trucks who can deliver the product to practically any sales outlet in Italy. A salt road that takes the salt wherever it is needed. About 700,000 tons of top-quality salt are produced every year for use wherever superior quality is required. Home consumption in the kitchen, industrial usage, the fine chemicals industry, and water softening. Italcali moves over 1,300,000 tons of salt every year for all uses. Thanks to the superior quality of Petralia salt, Italcali has become the star performer on the market, a leader not only in terms of sales but also in the way it has created its own product philosophy, by the selection of the right product for the right purpose. Brand policy, quality of customer service, after-sales assistance, all these mean that Petralia salt and the salt deposits of Sicily are fully exploited and that all the customers' various salt requirements are fully satisfied.